Hey, welcome to the Tim and Gugabe podcast. This is your host, Tim. Gugabe is, no picture today, showing up late, and he has to go on mute because I'm echoing so much. But other than that, do you have your life together, Gugabe?
Yep, life's good. Out of prison, halfway house. You've watched that movie Shawshank Redemption, where he
Yeah.
just proves that situation.
Yeah, you sound awful too, your mic, but we'll go with it anyway. Are you in the office right now?
Potentially.
Okay. Try to speak up. You sound so quiet, but we'll recap the previous card and kind of go over the main card per usual. Um, hey, we got a couple listeners. Let's go. Yeah, I do have a Harry Kane jersey on because he left. Yeah. Um, there's an Australian Tottenham coach now. Do you know that, Gugabe?
Good on him, I guess. Nice to see someone in the country getting a job.
Yeah. Or anyway, Holloway owned Zombie. Kind of expected that to happen. Anthony Smith and Ryan Spann looked awful. What did you think about that?
Yeah, that was a bit honestly weird. Like I had Span decision at 14, which I
Yeah.
was a little bit annoyed to lose, but also Smith probably wins that 80% of the time. So it wasn't like it was a bet where I got fucked over in the permutation, but as an actual rerun thing, I don't think Span deck was massively mispriced.
Yeah.
Like Span looked like he was just meme knockout or bust.
Yeah, they both look terrible. Yeah, I bet Smith. I bet him live after the second round. He was plus 220, and I was like, he started to win the second half of round two. So I was like, there's at least a 50-50 fight going forward, plus 220, give me it. I suppose they could have stopped it in between rounds because of his eye, but it didn't look that bad. It wasn't completely closed up. So I didn't think they would do it. But yeah, I was glad that hit. Kind of just a meme fight. Giga,
I think
go on.
I think Span probably deserved it, but that was a recency bias thing, and Smith probably did the better work in round three.
I think it's weird. Everyone seemed to think Span won, but I thought it was recency bias in round three. I mean, I thought round three was very competitive. You could have given it to Span, but Smith actually outlanded him 45-27 in round three. In the first 3 minutes, Smith kind of landed cleaner and more often. It's just the optics look bad for Smith in the last 2 minutes, but I didn't think Span even landed that much meaningful shit. It's just Anthony Smith looked drunk and he was just stumbling around the octagon, and it just looked bad.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, going into the decision, they probably would have made it Span minus 200, but again, Smith, big prices after round two was a good bet, and Smith should have won the fight anyway, so it's rerun the entire fight, Smith should be minus 300 in my opinion. Span just sucked.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I cashed on that. What? Giga won, Nakamura won, whatever. Blanchfield Santos. I played Blanchfield. Honestly, I see. I kind of saw it as I thought I didn't necessarily play Blanchfield because I thought she was going to dominate. I thought she had a high floor in the matchup because Santos was plus 700 to win inside the distance, and I didn't think she. I think she wins that inside the distance at a very low rate since Blanchfield's such a good submission grappler and the ground path is gone for Santos to finish. And the other thing was Blanchfield winning round three, I thought was a 90% outcome going into that fight. And I still kind of think that. I don't know. I feel like if Santos ever wins that fight, it's always going to be by razor thin decision. And I feel like Blanchfield has a higher floor and a higher ceiling in the matchup, but it was a competitive fight. But I still feel like Santos can never run away with it necessarily. What did you think? I think you're muted, Gugabe. Okay, well, we lost him. But I'll kind of keep going through, and whenever he comes in, I will add him to this. But I'm guessing he got caught at work and can't even speak to me anymore. But yeah, I had a little on Blanchfield. And if you have any comments about the card and what bets you hit or whatever. Oh, you back?
Hello. Hello.
This is a different setup. I'm used to you being in a NASA space station. but it also looks like a jail, you know?
Of course, it's always jails. Australia is just jail after jail after jail.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you ever visit, you're welcome to so, mate. But we'll leave that to the future. I actually agree a lot with Blanchfield because I'm just like, Blanchfield wins the third round like 98% of the time. And like, I, I kind of felt Santos kind of had the perfect fight for her if she didn't finish him. Like, I actually had time to do Santos to get knockouts, like Santos knockouts, 12 bucks. And I'm like, all right, if Santos is justifying 240, she's probably justifying 12 bucks. Yeah, it's conditional probability in my view. Like, Blanchfield's striking defense is so bad that, if Santos sustains standing, she's probably going to land absolutely huge, which she did. But like Blanchfield was, it's high upside going to 12 takedowns. Like, and if Santos like slips or fucks up at any point in the fight, it's because Blanchfield minus 300. And like that thing annoys me sometimes when people look at these like takedown defense performances and they're like, oh, they went 12 to 12. But it's like the margins, even if you're a lot better, even if you're a better wrestler than the other person, there's always that
one banana peel slip is like the round, you know? Yeah.
And also it can snowball so hard.
That's what happened in round 2. You know, like she went for a lateral drop suicide throw because she was being pressured a lot, and she kind of felt like she had to maybe do something, and she fell on her back and lost the round.
Yeah, and it just snowballs so hard. And it's like the old Michael Johnson thing. Like Michael Johnson, when he wins, looks great because he never touches the ground. The second he starts getting something on top of him, his brain just falls out. And it's just like, I think sometimes people just don't realize how strong the snowball can be. So just because you saw one fight where it didn't snowball quite as hard, like there could be versions of this fight where Blanchfield looks minus 10,000, where it's like, unless Santos knocks her out in the first round, like I just do not see where Santos ever looks like that big a favorite.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, because I saw a lot of people saying like Santos is a value side, and like I see, like I understand because it was a close fight, you want to like think that, but also round 1 was closer than like round 3. You know, like I don't know. I just feel like Santos is never the cardio discrepancy alone is never going to allow Santos to pull away with the fight, and she's not going to finish at a high clip because standing women KOs like don't happen when the striking's that evenly matched. It doesn't happen at a high clip, and then like Blanchfield's a better submission grappler, like easily. Like she's way less likely to just get like dominated on the mat or get subbed. So yeah, I kind of felt the same way, but it was still a competitive fight, but it was clean. Like it was 2-1 Blanchfield, you know?
I mean, I think people tend to sometimes people get overfixated on the exact version of the fight that played out. So it's always like, oh, that fight was a split decision. That was like a close fight. And sometimes it could just be like even Anthony Smith versus Ryan Spann. Like I had a very big number on Ryan Spann decision. And I do not think that was particularly valuable in the rerun. Like Anthony Smith probably just kind of beats him pretty consistently, despite the fact that in the one version we got, like Anthony Smith turns his main knockout into a fight genetic injury and then arguably gets robbed in the decision from it. But like how often does that happen?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, in a 3-rounder, I don't know. I would still put Blanchfield like minus 200 fine. Like
your upside.
Yeah, and then in a 5-rounder, I would put her like 75-80%. She's just like that would have probably got very dominant later.
Yeah, I just like I'd rather play Santos KO at plus 1100 than play Moneyline at plus 140 person. I just feel like there's a lot more meat on the plus 1200 bone, and like if you're wrong, you just lose a lot less money.
Yeah. It looks like it's split in the chat. There's some people who think like Santos was the value side. Some people Blanchfield. It's whatever. I just don't see like Santos ever winning dominantly. That's the thing. It's like always going to be like if she wins, it's going to be like a very close fight. I put Acosta like just because the head strike metrics. Like I it's kind of a sneaky play that I did. I mean, it ended quickly, but he just like dominates everyone to the head. Armfield Kazama was fun. He just kind of killed him. I was on Aldrich KO at plus 185. I was happy for that to happen. So I did well. I went 4 for 4. How did you do?
Yeah, decently. So bounce around. Casara's a bit annoying. Giga, I just hate Giga because it's just like the way he fights is just so fucking stupid. And like even like
during that fight, I mean, I didn't fall asleep, but I'm just saying I got bored and kind of stopped paying attention in round 2.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying because Giga, even when Giga gets his absolute perfect Giga fight, he goes even on significant strikes. It's just Yeah, oh, it was pin and shit. That was like I had a bit of golf, but like the way pin and shit quit was insane. Like that was nothing. He got punched like gently in the body and he just fell over. Like again, I had like a bunch of golf late, so I was kind of pissed. Like I made a little bit of money, but like if golf KO2, golf KO3, golf sub 2, golf, it would have been fucking massive for me. And like the second the fight pivots, he just dies. Like that was like how the fuck? And yeah, Giga's just very annoying because like the way he fights, like he should never like he should not be Master 200 because he never gives himself any actual separation. Like he got the perfect fight against Caceres and he outlanded him by 3 significant strikes. Yeah, it should have been 29-28. Like the live line
closer than people like because he won unanimously. What were the scorecards? Because I saw some discussion on
round 2 in a row.
I was watching it like glancing back and forth. I thought Giga won, but it looked pretty competitive.
Round 2 and round 3 were definitely Giga rounds, but Caceres went from plus 203 to like evens during round 1 and then did get a single round 1 card, which was kind of stupid.
Giga won on all the cards.
Yeah, he shouldn't have. It should have been 29-28. Again, I'm not saying Caceres won, but like unanimous 30-27 is kind of crazy for the margins that fight was conducted with. And Caceres broke his hand in the first round and that kind of shit. And it's just like how it's just frustrating the guy against Giga because it's like he never separates. And you get minus 200 on a guy who doesn't separate, who has no grappling. And it's just like, if Giga gets banana peeled at any point in the fight, he's just fucked.
Yeah.
Like, Caceres fought the dumbest possible fight and still made it 50-50.
Going to the, let's go to, this is UFC Paris, right? They're in France. Yeah, I'm like still researching, but I've gotten through the main card and whatnot. What do you think about the main event, Cyril Gane and Spivak?
I mean, Gane is so bad off his back. It's just like it's hard to bet because like Spivak was. I love Spivak. He's my boy. He lived in my shed for a couple months there. It was good on him. But it's just like Spivak. If he ever gets on top, probably completely annihilates Gane. But like between Spivak being a judo guy, not a double leg guy, and being a bit of a flake, I think it's just Spivak was just like, if this was like Tibura or something, I'd be more interested because I feel like Tibura you get more offsides and just like, Tibura will eventually find him. Spivak just doesn't seem to have much of the ability to bite down.
Yeah, my concerns for each guy is just like Gane is awful off his back, especially later in the fight. Like the way, because he looked kind of like even tired versus Ngannou like later in the fight, and so that concerns me. It also concerns me is just like one takedown could be like a lot here. And the other thing that concerns me about Gane is if like he doesn't put away people that often. Like I do think he can knock Spivak out. I think we'd all agree, but like he doesn't have a ton of power. And I just feel like I'm much more comfortable if he could just like murder Spivak on the feet, to just like get him out of there, which he doesn't always do that. Like he has knocked some people out, but like I almost feel like Ngannou would like murder, like it's like would be like more trustworthy against Spivak because he could just like kill him, where like Gane might not do that, but still like minus money with all those concerns. I just don't like that. I will say I want to look into the takedowns a little more, but Gane is better at defending upper body takedowns, like for sure. And Spivak does a lot of that like upper body shit, which I don't like, but so like him just easily getting a takedown may not happen, but because he's tenacious enough and Gane's just like he's a novice when it comes to wrestling, like he kind of relies on athleticism to defend. Just because Spivak's like tenacious enough, I could see him getting something going, and all he needs is a few takedowns and the fight can change. And Gane's get-ups looked awful versus Ngannou. I don't know. Like, I'm going to look into it a little more. Like, I would, like, I don't know. I think it's a dog or pass, personally, I'm kind of like in that realm.
Yeah, I'm probably leaning past, but I do agree. It's like, it just feels like, if you bet Gane, it's just like, you bet Gane, banana peel hits, and then you fucked. And like, well, if you bet Spivak, it's just, I feel like Spivak could just look like a complete idiot here. I don't know. It's like Spivak should definitely be beside. Yeah. And like, I mean, I feel like you got to go with it. Historically, the history of the sport indicates you go into grappler to get the plus money in this spot. But like, if Spivak was just a bit tough, like if this was Tibura at the similar price, I'd actually be down with it. So I just feel like I trust Tibura's tenacity and grappling a lot and toughness a lot more. Honestly, it's kind of funny. Remember how like Gane was booked against what's the PFL guy's name?
Who?
Gane was booked against PFL guy. He got signed to the UFC and he got unsigned.
Lynn?
Delja.
Oh, Delia? Or I forget.
Yeah, and Delia was like plus 400
or whatever. Yeah.
Delia was plus 400. This was like 2020.
Yeah.
Honestly, that could have honestly been the end of the Gane hype train.
Yeah. It's a weird fight because it's just like someone's gonna look dominant. So like, why play minus 170? That's the way I see it. You know, like you could get a minus 170 and he looks like a massive underdog after. So I don't know. Furot and the only thing about this is like I'd be a little concerned if like I could see a striking based decision happen. What? Probably not. Like, I mean, if Gane gets enough striking time, he'll probably just get a knockout. But like, it could happen. It's like we've seen distance before with guys, you know, and also a Spivak sub is like very possible too, you know.
Yeah, and it's just like North Mapping Gane is just like, you know, he doesn't have a huge killer instinct, and like a lot of his finishes have been more attritional. Like Terry Vassell was attritional, JDS was attritional. And like, is he going to be confident to put leg kicks and that kind of stuff on a guy who he knows he can just get on top of him the entire time? I feel like we could just see a very gun-shy Gane here.
I agree, it's better than fight doesn't go the distance, like just to kind of fade the Spivak sub at like a more decent price, you know. But like, I don't know. The fight kind of sketches me out. I think it's dog or pass, but I'm gonna stay away personally.
The over under just seems weird.
Yeah. Furot and Rose. I think the line's about right. I feel like I just feel like Furot puts up more consistent offense. Like that's the thing. That's overall. I picked her on my breakdowns. I do think though, like Rose still has like competed with very good volume strikers before, even though her metrics aren't great, but her competition's awesome. Like she only lands like 3.3 significant strikes per minute, and she absorbs close to that. So she almost has striking parity, but like, and she hits pretty hard. Like that's always a thing you and I have said about Rose. Like, so she can land impactfully, so she can make up, because I think she got outlanded by like Joanna in that second fight, but she was landing the harder shots. So like, she can compete. She's very proven and whatnot, but it's just like, I forget the exact stat that I had, but I'll pull it up. But basically, like she just doesn't land a ton of volume, and Furot does. You know, like I'll just take that consistency. Furot will be a little bigger, although Rose like probably will fill out at 125 just fine. I don't think there will be like a huge size advantage, but yeah, I think Rose has only landed like more than 60 significant strikes a few times, and like Furot is doing that every fight, and she's doing that in second round TKOs against worse competition overall, but still like outvoluming Chokagian is solid. Dominated Bueno Silva. Like I think she's gonna win probably a 29-28 decision here. I think round one will be very competitive, and then I like Furot's cardio a little more. But it will probably be competitive. I think it's aligned very fair. What do you think?
I mean, I haven't historically been a Furot hype train person. I honestly feel like she just kind of owns Rose. Like Rose has always been an overperformer and like liable to get like single big moments, but just Rose's style is kind of a miss. And it feels like at strawweight she was very reliant on being a bigger and longer woman in there. Like a lot of her style was based on like cool counters and that kind of stuff. And it's just like she's going to fight somebody who was just bigger and longer than her. And like Fiora fights well quite well. I'm not sure. Like to me, it just feels like what does a Rose win look like here, apart from like a random big bonk kind of thing, which is like it's women's. Like
I think like a split decision or like a mean bonk. Like she's not I think that's kind of what I think. Like
I genuinely do not think that like Rose has much more for Fiora than like Maya did, honestly. Like, yeah, people were perfectly happy playing Fiora out to like from -500 against Maya, and now they're only playing -180 against Rose. Like, where's logic in that? And like, and this thing with Rose is also is Rose.
Like, I do.
Is she?
It's just Rose doesn't put up enough consistent volume. Like,
Is Rose better than Maya?
Yeah.
Like, Rose is so inconsistent. It's like her whole entire career has just been defined by her just having these like Rose is the best, I guess. But she's just such a ridiculously inconsistent fighter. It's like it's hard to do a beat on what Rose actually is.
Also, like one thing, like I don't know, that Andrade, like the thing is, like Esparza, she literally was too tentative to where like she couldn't pull away from her, you know. So like it's like how far, like how big is her ceiling here? Other than like if she wins a decision, it's going to be like very, very competitive. Or if Fiora could just win like a very clean decision, so I like her more. But also against Jessica Andrade, when Andrade fought really dumb in that second fight, if that was 5 rounds, Andrade would have won. But
I mean, I think it's an argument for Andrade.
So slow, you know what I mean? And then when she
started,
and like Fiorot's not going to do that. When Andrade picked up the pace, she started winning easily, like you know, and
yeah,
I think they're going to win like a 29-28, 30-27 mix type of fight.
And honestly, there was an argument for Andrade to either win that second fight or to get a draw in that fight. And like, you know, if it had been the 5 rounder, it would have been stopped after round 3 during the eye because the eye was fucked.
Oh, I mean, she was going to finish her if that was 5 rounds for sure.
Andrade picked the dumbest possible path and still only lost by the smallest possible margin. Like, what are you going to do? I just like Fiora just said, like, I've never been high on Rose. It's like I feel like Rose her entire career. It's like there's the Joanna second fight, which is an incredible performance, and the rest of it's just kind of not that great. And I feel like Joanna fight maybe just kind of lied, and Joanna having a few lapses that Rose kind of played into well. Plus I think Rose just had a very good night. That like she got very good timing on the models and that kind of stuff. Like there's versions of Joanna Rose 2 where Joanna wins 49-46 in my opinion.
Yeah, I've only played 2 Rose fights. I played Andrade in the first fight over, and like people thought it was like a fluke, but I was like, there was a clear pivot in that fight, and the second fight kind of showed the same thing. Like Andrade didn't start off hot in the second fight, but when she started picking it up, she was going to pull away. She would have pulled away in the first fight too. Rose's cardio is like if you pressure her, she melts. Like, and I don't think people like remember that. Then I played Carla over her, exactly how I drew it up. Not really, but you know. I played Carl over. I thought the grappling exchanges would be a little more high octane, but then they both just like got scared, you know. So that ended up not going as I thought. But I did cash. But I think for like I was hoping for a little better line. I still expect it to be a women's MMA striking fight that goes to the card. So like -180. Do I really want to play that? I don't think so. But I do like a lean fear out here. Same thing.
I thought Fiora just puts it like Fiora probably just doubles her in pace, and it's just like, well,
yeah.
What more do you need?
That's what I think too. I think she's gonna win and be up by like 20-30 strikes and just kind of win the fight. Benoit Saint-Denis and Thiago Moises. This is a tough one. Like, one thing I will say, I'm not saying the line was right, but Saint-Denis going like +250 against Bonfim to now -155 against Thiago Moises seems a little weird. Like sometimes the market has to correct, and you know, like it did correct here, but did it correct too much? Like I've gone back and forth all week on this fight. Like I ended up picking Saint-Denis, but it's kind of like your classic. I feel like Moises is like a better technical fighter. Like he's probably a better technical grappler and a better technical striker. But I feel like Saint-Denis is just gonna like go after him, you know. And I feel like the pace of him could just like get him ahead on the cards, even in the striking or just like clinching him up, landing body kicks. He just spams the left body kick literally every fucking fight. So like that's why I ended up picking him, because I just feel like he could maybe make him more. He could make Moises uncomfortable. Maybe get some type of finish by just like out hustling him or just kind of outworking him. But I'm worried, man. Like on the feet, I don't know. I'm not sold on his striking. Like he is just too hittable. And Moises like competed with Bobby Green on the feet. You know, if Moises had a little more power to the head, I think I would pick Moises, but he doesn't really put people away. You know, like I feel like St. Denis, you have to like be able to punch him in the face very, very hard and like deter him or knock him out to beat him. And Moises doesn't really do that. And that's like another reason I picked St. Denis. But I don't know, like it's the more offensive fighter versus a better defensive fighter type of situation. It's classic. I think the line should be very, very competitive. I wouldn't play St. Denis at minus 150 to 200 anymore. I'm going to definitely pass. I think it's a very competitive fight. I picked St. Denis, but it seems a little, I don't know. Like I'm a little sketched out about it, but I don't know. What do you think here?
I just about agree. I think Denis' favorite kind of makes sense. Seems a bit more proactive in what should be like a crazy war, but I don't know, Moises could just kind of get into a grappling exchange with him and just be like, well, I'm a like world-class jiu-jitsu guy and you are a very aggressive Frenchman. Like that is also potentially, it's just like they just tangle up and it just turns out Moises just shits on him. Like but the issue is also Moises' decision making can be fucking dreadful sometimes. I remember him versus Dariush where he just went to his belly. Went like obviously Dariush is a hard guy to grapple, but like every time Moises had a cut, he just went for a fucking militant. And it's just like
it's like why are you trying to get like a world-class jiu-jitsu guy? You're just like
Moises is a good jiu-jitsu guy himself.
No,
Moises is elite jiu-jitsu, but it's just I know it's just like, but also Benoit said he could just get killed. Like it's not something I want to rely on, but
100%. I've seen that, and like this guy put that here. Like he leaves his neck totally out there. Like he almost got guillotined in a couple fights I've seen him in, and he's very hittable. Like he's gonna get knocked out very, very badly at some point. I would have picked Moises if like I trusted Moises to land more head strikes. I could just like fucking punish him. Because Moises can land here. Like, I mean, anyone can fucking land in St. Denis, but I feel like St. Denis just might out hustle him. That's why I picked him. And just like Peter said here, like Moises definitely struggles with pressure, but I do think St. Denis is just like someone's going to brawl against him very easily soon. And honestly, if Bonfim didn't abandon that whizzer in that fight, I think Bonfim could have taken like, because he started stopping the takedowns and against St. Denis, and he started getting up and he was landing some good headshots, and then he got his back taken again. He let go of the whizzer, just like McGregor did against Khabib in their fight, and then he just got rear naked choked. You know, he just got the body triangle, but like I don't know, Moises.
And also like
Moises might take the back. You know,
it was like with Moises struggling with pressure. It's just like Moises' losses in the UFC are. Of Makachev and Alvarez. There was only one bad fighter in there. His name is Yoel Alvarez. And like even he just kind of just bum rushed it. Like he just he wobbled him and he just kind of just ran forward screaming, trying 5,000 strikes kind of thing.
St. Denis
Oh, 100%. I do agree, but like I just feel it's a bit unfair saying he struggles with pressure when like the guys who really pressured him grappling wise were Makachev and Dariush were probably top 10 grapplers in MMA history.
What do you think of the under 2.5? It's like minus 120, minus 110. Like it's like almost split. A slight favor to under 2.5. I just feel like
you'll get a lot of fight for your money. Put that way.
What's up?
You'll get a lot of fight for your money. You're getting the same tempo. My thing is like I feel like Benoit St. Denis inside distance is probably a bit too favoured. Like I don't think it should be plus 115 because there's a good chance that Moises can just kind of it's just very hard to tap.
Yeah, and sure. Get his back and nothing could happen. Yeah.
On the other hand, I feel like Moises ITD. I think the unders is not bad, but probably I feel like Moises inside the distance is probably the better part of the under, which is off.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the main worry I am about the under 2.5 is just like if these guys are both decent grapplers, if they just like can neutralize each other from submitting one another, right? But like the sub could be there for either one too. It's really going to come down to that. Like, yeah, but they could both fucking land big shots on the feet too. Like a KO for either guy or a sub for either guy could totally happen. So there's like a 4 outcome fight for that or 4 outcome like possibility for that finish. But I do feel like you're guessing a little bit. But St. Denis is you want someone to bring the pressure on that doesn't go the distance, and like he will. which is good. But it's a really close one. But let's move on.
Yeah.
Ozdemir and Guskov. I picked Ozdemir here just because like I will say that Ozdemir is getting dropped like every fight, and this guy, is kind of a meathead and is just going to come forward. He can kind of box a little bit, but he's fighting a lot of bad fighters, and I've seen him flatline too. Some of his KOs have been pretty nice, but it's like, who's he doing it against type of thing. I think the line, like you got to kind of shade towards the more experienced fighters. So I picked Ozdemir to win, but I have been a little concerned about his durability. Like even Craig landed some like good shots on him. What do you think? Kind of the same type of thing?
Yeah, it's just like I think Ozdemir should be favoured definitely because he's like good experience and like
For sure.
isn't like. But also the issue of Ozdemir is even when he's having a good day, he never really separates.
Yeah.
Like his UFC performances, the Latifi one was nice, but apart from that, he's never really even his wins. Like most of them are very close decisions, and like or it's like it's either instant KOs or kind of very grindy close decisions. Like I guess he beat Craig on the feet, but like good work. And then you had like Rakic and Reyes, where he probably got robbed against Reyes and robbed Rakic, but like both fights are in that kind of 50-50 kind of margin. Jesus Christ.
No,
is destroying my earbuds. But yeah, it's just like where is the upside on? I just don't see the upside on Ozdemir at minus 200. Like unless Guskov just totally falls off the cliff, like I'd almost I haven't seen prices yet, but like if Ozdemir like KO 2-3 is like plus 600, plus 700 or something, that's probably better than moneyline. Actually, there's stuff now. Yeah, Ozdemir KO 2-3 plus 300. Yeah, fuck that. But yeah, I just. Like even if Ozdemir gets a levels thing here, it's just like you're only getting like low, medium tempo kickboxing. You're not getting Ozdemir to wrestler. You're not getting Ozdemir the oppressive striker. You're just getting a guy who's going to put like 20 strikes on you around.
Let me ask you a question because I think it like is really big in lining the fight. Like, who do you think has better cardio here?
Because Ozdemir also gets it himself, which also is annoying. It's like even if Guskov turns out to be mediocre, it's like, well, is Ozdemir going to run Jerry sprints away of the fight?
That's exactly why, like, because I see a lot of love for Ozdemir at minus 170 and 200, and that was my main concern that I like kind of noticed is like this guy. I've seen him fight kind of all right in rounds 2 and 3, but there isn't a ton of tape in extended fights. But it's like there's a chance he has a better cardio, just because like Ozdemir does get tired at times, So that's the thing about Ozdemir. It's like if he doesn't knock this guy out right away, the fight could get very, very interesting just from like a cardio perspective. And it's like they both can knock each other out. Let's be real. Like they both work very hard. So yeah, I don't know. Like I think the line's fine. And props you like?
Just got the prices now, but honestly, taking a look at them, not really. Like I was hoping for a big price on Ozdemir 2/3, and that hasn't seemed to eventuate. So Ozdemir decision plus 525, I guess, but like there's a risk that actually Ozdemir decision is probably not awful. If I get played anyway, but I don't know.
What do you?
Guskov, no.
Are there? Yeah, I didn't really look into the Gomes fight yet, but because that kind of just got made. But are there any other like spots like you're eyeing on the card?
I like Lucas Almeida a lot, but that's been cancelled, so that's annoying. Who else do I like? Jocelyn Edwards being dogged seems a little bit insulting. Like Cornell,
100%. I thought the exact same thing. Like, there's not enough info on this girl, but like she doesn't look very good. And Jocelyn Edwards is like, she's UFC level. Like she's not great, but like she's
very in the UFC. Like that takes to do it. Oh, 4-2. She's 4-2. She should be 3-3 because that last fight was a hilarious robbery. But like, she beat Jeon Kim. Like Jeon Kim beats this random woman. Like the issue here is like Cornell seems like a more active grappler, and Edwards has a big grappling hold. But like,
is this girl a good grappler though? I was watching her.
I said proactive, not good. I said proactive, not good.
I was seeing her get head and arm thrown and shit, and like she.
Yeah.
I feel like this is like I don't know because I see everyone like
it's aggro purple belt logic.
I see the line. I think it's a blind fight, so it's like kind of like how
Yeah.
do you know type of thing. But like it's like Edwards the more proven commodity. It's a classic play the more proven commodity. But
Yeah.
this girl, when I was watching her, I was like, what the fuck is her skill set even? I feel like she likes to strike, but she's fighting a bunch of soccer moms who try to grapple her, and then she like Muay Thai clinches them and just kind of like beats them there. But it's like, is a Muay Thai clinch really the way to like win fights in the UFC? Is that a path to victory? No. And then the other thing is like they would try to like head and arm throw her and like get takedowns, and then she would just like reverse position, get on top, and like it's like she was like reversing position after getting like taken down hilariously, or she was like clinch powering them, and they were all bum fighters. Like I mean, really, really bad. And the one girl she lost to is that Calvacanti girl on the card who's fighting Iron or whatever. She lost to her, and I couldn't find the fight, but she lost by decision. And that girl's like looks reasonably okay. And so I don't know. I just feel like Edwards is like a decent fighter, and she has good metrics. That's the thing about Edwards. Like she lands, you know,
The issue of Edwards is that
she lands 5
Edwards is bottom.
significant strikes, absorbs 3.48. She defends takedowns at 64%, which isn't like awful. Like she isn't great once she's on her back, but like I don't know. I'm gonna pick her to win. Like I just feel like it's a little weird.
Yeah, I agree. Like, Edwards has essentially elite cardio and work rate for a woman. Because people are like, yeah, you take out the 2 fights, she's spent entirely on the back. Her strikes landed per minute. It's like in like all the fights, she's actually had 15 minutes in kickboxing. She lands like 10 strikes a minute.
In the comments, if you think like, because is she really a grappler? I was not getting the sense that she was a grappler. I was getting the sense that she was kind of like sort of physical, and she would get on top of girls like because they would just like fall over and shit. Like it wasn't like she was landing double legs or something. It looked like she more wanted to strike, and then they would clinch her up because they were terrible, and she was better at. But imagine like Joseline Edwards versus these girls. Like Edwards was knocking people out on the regionals, like badly.
Yeah, and like I trust Edwards' attributes because Edwards will work. Edwards' work rate is good, and she's got athlete performance. So like, yeah, I feel like Edwards has to be decided at evens. Like, but the only concern I have is just like Edwards' bottom game is so bad.
Like Edwards knocked out 5 people on the regionals, and then in the UFC, like she's not knocking people out. And this girl was doing the same thing, and it's like, I'm guessing this girl's going to come to the UFC and not look like a finisher type of thing. Like, yeah. I don't know. It is like maybe she ends up being all right, but the fact that she lost to Calvacanti and like, dude, her wins are against like Costco employees, like literally like ladies I've never heard of in my life.
Also, the thing is like, yeah, goes the distance is minus 140.
Oh, is it?
Like Edwards has no get ups, so it's not like you can just instantly tap her on the back. Like, why goes the distance minus 140? Like the market seems to have assumed that like this woman is going to positionally TKO Edwards at like 30% clip.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like I if someone could describe this girl's skill set, I literally, when I was writing my breakdowns, I usually do like a bio on each person, then I say how they match up, and I'll describe their skill set when I'm doing their bio. And I was like, I don't know, like people fall into the clinch and she lands like some strikes, and then they fall over and she'll get on top of them. Like I was like, I don't even fucking know.
I think her background is Muay Thai. I think her background's Muay Thai because when you Google her, there's a bunch of Muay Thai fights.
But she lost most of them. Like, you know, and like, like being a professional kickboxer in random, like, it's like, Joseline Edwards could be a professional kickboxer, like, easily.
Maurice Graham is like, Maurice Graham won like 2-2 with glory over it.
Yeah.
What else? I kind of find, I'm not necessarily rushing to play him, but I feel like it's funny Clayton Rodriguez has gone from being like the next champion, flyweight champion, to being absolute garbage in the eyes of the market of like a contentious loss to Vergara. And like, he like, never made decisions. He got the Vergara win, like 90% of the scorecards. Like, yeah, I mean, it wasn't a great look, but like, you know, like a year and a half ago, people were saying Clayton was legit like a future champion. I know people always memory hold these things because like people can't remember like what the hype trains that like don't happen. But like it is kind of hilarious how hard the market has turned on Clayton.
I picked Basharat to win, but I do like minus 350 seems a little wide because
Yeah.
I think Gleason's a decent fighter. Like that's it. Like Blackshear had a competitive fight, against Basharat too.
Blackshear's good. Blackshear just went. Blackshear just he's
Yeah.
a nice little run and just But like also like Rodriguez, he just kind of has a high floor in my opinion in terms of like what he does. Like he just he throws hard. He's aggressive. He's young, decently skilled everywhere. Like I think it's more likely that like Rodriguez, if this turns out to be 50-50, then as opposed to man.
Who?
But like the Basharat
Who you're talking about here? Because I know we were talking about the what's her name, Cornell or whatever the fuck. I don't know how to say it. That's her name. But who's the Aries champ that lost? Like I'm gonna know it once. I don't always pay attention to like the name of the regional promotions that they're fighting in. Who was that? Was it the girl who I played Luana Carolina against? Carolina was like plus 170, like inexplicably.
Petrovic?
Ivana.
Carolina beat Ivana Petrovic. Yeah, Ivana Petrovic.
What was that? Who it was? That's who I was thinking. Yeah, because I picked Carolina like straight and played her, and I was like, "What the fuck is this line?" Yeah, maybe that was her. I don't know. That's probably what they're talking about. But yeah, he that's right because Carolina got her head knocked off against McCann. But yeah, I think we both agreed like Carolina probably shouldn't have been the dog in that one. But is there any other things you want to talk about? I'm gonna go pretty soon. I'm off work starting tomorrow for 11 days, so I'm excited about that. But I'm really tired. I've been like worked to death. But is there anything else you want to talk about?
Honestly, it's a pretty shit card. I might not even watch it live. Like I said, it's on like 2 a.m., 7 a.m. Australia time, so I'm just kind of like I've got a couple of bets here, like maybe Edwards, but like the issue of Edwards, I just don't want to have a thing where Cornell can actually get the grappling going. And I just like an idiot. Just like again, I'm not saying it's the case, but like if Cornell can just hit takedowns and suddenly Edwards just looks awful, it's not impossible.
It's possible, but it's also like a French kickboxer. Like, is she really going to be like a great grappler? I don't know. Probably not. You're playing the odds. Like, it's not like you're even playing like a minus 170 here. You're playing like a dead even. So, I am gonna roll though. I'm like dead tired. So sorry to everyone. It's good to see you in video again, Gugabe. We'll go. Sorry for people who joined Monday. Gugabe flaked. So there are people like on the chat like, "Hey, where the fuck are you guys?" And I felt bad, but I don't know. It's fun.
Tim messages me at 5:37 a.m. Australia time. So he joining in an hour and a half. I'm asleep, so
I can do like 5 or 6 a.m. Monday my time. Like after I get up at like 4 now and go to the gym. I've changed my schedule. I get up at like 4, go to the gym. I can do it at like 6. Oh yeah. Dude, it's a cheat code. I'm telling you, it's amazing. You get everything done before your day starts. It's amazing. I'm just saying if you want, and then so you don't have to cry about the time difference.
We'll figure something out. Yeah, next week's card's awful anyway.
Yeah. All right. See you guys. Have a good one.
Bye. Gotcha. Bye.